Welcome back to the Hair Curler Chronicles. So, in today's episode, we're going to jump off from what we talked about last time. So, we're back to basics. We're going back to the basics. In today's episode, we're going to talk about income producing assets. So, let's jump right on in. Welcome back to YouTube University. Tim and Nancy Danter. Wanted to do our next video was a jump off from the previous video of what was assets versus liabilities, income versus expense. And I wanted to focus in on income producing assets and why that should be a key focus for you as an individual or as your family, or if you're a business person, what that means. So an income producing asset is something that will continue to grow for you, to get your money growing for you when you're not doing a 9-to-5 job. Does that sort of make sense? Did I explain that correctly? Would you understand what I just said there? Because I'm not sure if I understood what I just said. But the idea with it is that it's, so I have a 9-to-5 job. I go to work, I earn money, it's my paycheck, and I have to show up every day in order to make that money. When you look at an income producing asset, it produces income without me having to push it, do it, change my day-to-day time and my day-to-day.
So the asset's like you're delegating your money and the asset is doing the work for you and you check in every once in a while.
Yes. So the reason why people love buying stocks is what they're doing is their cash position in their bank account is an asset for them. They put the money into the stock market because they want their money to make money for them while they're out doing their regular day-to-day life. Does that make sense?
Right. I mean, it does go deeper of whether you have someone manage that for you or whether you self-direct it yourself.
Okay, now we're getting complicated. Let's try to complicate things and get me muddled. Jeez. So anyways, so because we love cryptocurrency, and I always look at cryptocurrency the same way that other people would look at stocks. I put money into our Blockfi account, and it not only is it holding the store of my money, it's an asset that is increasing in value, so it's rising, so it's making money that way. Plus with Blockfi, it's also earning interest on top of the asset growing, so it's making money twice for us. Now, some people will say, well, but crypto goes up and down and up and down. You're right. There's a possibility that this could slide backwards, but over the long haul, and we are macro kind of thinkers. We're not, and macro means big picture thinkers.
We're not, right. Stocks go up and down.
Stocks over a lifetime. If you're not a day trader, if you look at the charts, the stock market has generally grown like crazy. But it's the same sort of concept. So you want to put your money into places that your money is gonna work for you it's like another Nancy. It's like producing another Nancy. I only have one husband. He can only work so hard. So I need to find a way to create more income without bringing on another husband. Anyways, so income producing assets. So in our particular world, this cottage that we're sitting at, this was a very calculated decision for us. We bought this with the sole intention that this was going to produce income for us. And if the pandemic hadn't hit, we wouldn't even be here right now. This would hopefully have been rented out.
Did you say calculated risk?
Yeah.
It was scary.
Oh, it was scary.
I mean, as we said in the other video, we've only had this cottage for a year.
We bought it this time last year, 1 year ago, pretty much today. We bought this.
Buy a cottage at the beginning of a pandemic, much like I bought my first business at the beginning of one of the worst recessions where I was paying 18% in interest on my loans.
Yeah. So, but when we sat down to look at this asset, this potentially income producing asset, we then had to jump over to look at what kind of income could come in versus the expenses that could go out? And would they balance themselves out? Because what we didn't want to do is take on more expenses to our world. So after careful consideration of doing the due diligence on paper and pen and our purple book of ideas, would this all work itself out? It did. And now we count this. So this cottage is on the balance sheet as an asset, and it's producing income. So it's an income producing asset. Yes, there's liabilities on it, but our profit and loss statement make it so that we can service the liability on this. I know this sounds complicated, but once you do it in a little tiny format with your own personal existence and your own personal situation, then you will see how this is super important. So we became super focused on making sure that everything that we were going to spend money on was an income producing asset, because I like to spend money. I like pretty things. I like nice stuff in my home.
Good thing you're not a fish. You'd be biting at the hook all the time. Oh, that's a flashy thing in the water.
It was hard for me. I didn't like it, but now I'm on the other side of that, of wanting to spend stuff on doodads, as Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki calls it doodads. I don't really care to spend it on the doodads quite as much, as because now it's exciting as you start to do this and you start to look at what other income producing assets can I buy, then it starts to snowball. And so
I used that reference last video.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. A snowball rolling down a hill. Anyways, so we hope this has been kind of helpful for you to understand a little bit more about income producing assets. In our next video, we're going to talk about how cryptocurrency, and Bitcoin in particular, becomes an inflation hedge asset. It's the next phase of the asset conversation. So stay tuned. Please come and join us again.
Send us your comments. We want your comments. We want to engage with you. This is why we do this, is to share our experiences and our mistakes and our findings and our aha moments, right?
I love you. Stay tuned.